me. We have a special guest today, alongside your ever beloved co-hosts, Coin and Sage. We have Mo here today, and I was gonna ask what you wanted to be introed as, but I thought, fuck it, let's go live in the moment since we already were, and you could intro yourself.
Ooh, I mean, it's been a minute since I've done this. So, hi, I'm Mo, and you can go. Oh, phone drop. You can go fuck yourself.
All right. Me and Mo used to be on a pod, the infamous CCP back in the day, and we have a couple different topics we wanted to cover today. And I thought, who else better that knows about tech, knows a little bit about conspiracies? We can get a little crazy. But before we get into any of the topics, let's kick it to Sage. How's life been? And is there anything you wanted to bring up before we dive headfirst into a train wreck?
First things first. What's up, Mo? Big
Hello.
fan. I love to see
Thank
you
you.
back.
What's going on,
Thank you.
Kip?
Shout out to Mo's Smoke Pod show thing that she does. I think.
Will be. Haven't done it. Like, haven't gotten it out yet, but yeah.
Oh, spoilers! Epic foreshadowing. That's how we do it here. All right.
Hell yeah.
It's really great. CCP reunion happening soon. I don't know. I'm I'm waiting for that. Where the hell's Tex? Pretty happy about that. It'd be crazy if Tex just shows up in the comments. Uh, let's see, stuff I would like to bring. First things first. Thank you for the VOP for having us on here. It's been great. Shout out to Sageway. I've been doing my gaming stream on there. That's been pretty interesting, pretty outrageous. I kind of want to talk about fat shaming.
Okay.
All right.
But is that like, yo, you guys want to do that now? Like, you think that's like you guys want to wait? Nah, this is pretty heavy. It's like Jamaican side
It's
stuff.
pretty heavy.
I'm down for whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, you know, we got any
Pun
lighthearted
intended.
stuff? Like anybody
All
got
pun intended.
any weird masturbation stories that they want to start off first to get everybody laughing?
I don't really have any.
That's wild.
I know.
You guys don't live life.
I know I took a few risks. Yeah. Anyway,
Like
Sage, go on.
crusty socks, like random condoms laying around that shouldn't have been laying around. Nothing like
No,
that.
just like being a horny like teenager and jerked off on a 4-wheeler once, in the middle of the woods.
Did you fuck a
So.
pie?
No, I would never copy anything I saw in
Yo, that
movies or
sounds
TV.
mad. Yo, pies are hot. Like, yo, people know that, right? Like, pies are mad hot unless you're Yogi Bear and you like that shit. Like, it's like I don't understand. Like, unless you get it cold, but then it's mad. I don't know. People are weird. Nah,
People
I
are weird.
guess I don't know. I got into this weird debate with an associate of mine about fat shaming, and I was kind of telling this person that it kind of doesn't exist for guys. And then she was like, "No, that's not true." And I was like, "Well, if we call a fat chick obese and fat as fuck, we're fat shaming, and we have to be happy for her body. But if we look at a fat dude and we call him fat, he's fat. It's like it's just yo, the dude's fat, lose some weight, do some push-ups." So it's like, like to guys, fat shaming isn't a thing. Like I can't like if Coin calls me fat, which I'm not, but if he calls me fat, and if I go up to Dan and be like, "Yo, Coin's fat shaming me," I'm pretty sure Dan's gonna smack me with his cock.
Do you think that's because it's VOP
Probably.
though, and maybe not? Maybe they'd work at Netflix or something.
Nah,
I
because
think
like I
all
don't
of you men have like that weird bond
nah,
to just be able to do that.
I just don't feel like for men fat shaming is a thing. I don't feel like fat shaming is really a problem. I feel like like one, you shouldn't be hateful or towards anybody about how they look. But then again, like there's a lot of things. Then there's skinny shaming. There's people that shame people that have disformities. There's
True.
stretch mark shaming. You know, there's a lot of shamings, and it's
Yeah.
just, you know, we kind of covered that when we say they make fun of people's bodies. There's
All
just
the
that,
time.
like, it's like, so I just feel like I don't know. So that's just what I feel. If you guys agree or not, please tell me.
I mean, I'm tiny all the way around, so it's kind of like I get that whole when are you going to gain weight question. And
Okay.
it's like, well, I've never gone above 110 pounds. So, no, I'm not going to because you say I should.
The timeline's no.
Right. Like I'm above the age of 30. If I'm going to gain weight, it's around now and it doesn't look to be like that. So, I mean, I get it. I don't know about men so much as women. I do know just from like a woman's perspective though, we don't really comment about anybody's weight unless you're a douche. You know, like, oh, that fat motherfucker over there. You know, that's usually a comment, but it's usually not said unless you've been a dick to me or like one of my friends or something like that. Now, I do have a friend, Fat Matt, and he's big, definitely big, but he's okay with being called Fat Matt. First time I met him, he's like, "Hey, just call me this." I was like, I don't know if I feel okay about that, but grew to love him. So,
Fat
is it
man.
shaming? Yep, Fat Matt. Like, is it shaming? I don't really know. Like, I guess there is a double standard. I
I
almost
feel
agree with you.
like I do, but I feel like you're shaming me right now for not having a webcam, and you just grid viewed my bullshit picture of a altar cam right there.
Bro, I think that's so perfect. I feel like I swear I was looking at it and I was like, yo, this explains Coin so much. Please start. I'm like, yo, this is him. Like,
Should
All
have
right,
got him
well,
fucking the couch or something.
I would have ordered one online, but Mo's president has kind of fucked up the postal service. Um,
and
uh,
Joe Biden.
What?
yeah, she actually voted for him 3 times.
Fuck you.
That's,
4. It was 4, not 3.
Okay.
that's
All
wild.
right,
Mo,
sorry to interrupt, but yeah,
I would
I
love to
agree. There's a
ask
different
why
dynamic.
you vote. Okay, you know what? You're right. That's not important. We'll ask that later. I'm sorry, Coin.
No, you go ahead because I was just basically going to agree with you. Most dudes just don't give a shit, or then when they do care, then they'll lose weight. It just doesn't really
That's true. That's true.
a lot thicker skin, I would think, and less
Mm-hmm.
uh, expectation too.
Ah, Biden sexuals. Funny. Yeah, it's just really weird. It's just like, you know, like I feel like it's for females they're healthy. For men, they're sloppy and disgusting. And it's like, you know, like, and it's like, you know, like if you have a body, whatever you feel like, I don't really care. Like my woman, big, small, either way, your shit's getting fucking thrown. Like it don't matter. Like that's just not really a big problem for me. It's just like my thing is just like, you know, like it's we talk a lot about double standards, and that's a really big ass double standard. Like it's like, and it's, I feel like
It
we
is.
should stop it. I feel like if you're really fat and if it's unhealthy, then you should be healthy and not healthy because you're happy in your own skin healthy, which
Yeah.
that's healthy and that's cool, but also physically healthy, which is also important. Like, you know,
Very.
like at least run a mile. Like you should, like I don't know. I always feel like that should be mandatory for every U.S. citizen. So you should be able to run a mile if they physically can. But
Oof. I don't know. Back in high school, nope. I was a smoker. So it's just, there was no running that shit for me. I was over it.
yeah, but see, like that's why, like you know, in high school, kids shouldn't smoke, so they won't, so they shouldn't be because they won't be active, you know, running and all that stuff. But I definitely feel like
Yeah.
it should be something like just some type of fitness that Americans should have. It's like we look at all these other countries, like yo, these niggas are mainly fit. Like yeah, fat people are all around. Don't get me wrong, lazies are all are everywhere around the world. But
mean, I agree. I just kind of think we are probably, well, we are the most obese country in the world. And so I kind of tend to feel like it's kind of one of those things that we brought on ourselves, much like whatever the fuck is going on today. We did this to ourselves. We are to blame. It's kind of like, well, I do think healthy competition is warranted. So, like, kind of to go back to throw it back a little bit, but when I was in high school, if you got into a fight, you got up, you shook hands, and you went about your day.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the same thing with picking on people and shit. Like, if you swung, you better get back up and you better swing yourself.
Yeah.
But that's not how things happen. So, like, I'm going to go off topic, but not really. But I do think that obesity will probably see a rise in it just because of the fact that there's no more fat shaming. That sounds so rude coming out of my mouth, but it's true.
Well, and they shut the fucking country down for a year and made people just want to stay inside all the time. The sun's fucking terrible for you.
Yes.
Don't worry about vitamins. Just take the medicine we prescribe as the government.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
it's yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but what were you gonna say?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like it's wild how that what you said. Obesity is gonna be on the rise because fat shaming is no longer a thing, and that's.
It's fucked.
I don't
It's
want
true.
like I don't want to say sadistically, but stoically correct. Like it's super it's real. Like there has to be like I remember like the reason why I lost my 100 pounds was because literally people were calling me fat. I remember I was really skinny, like I was skinny like you in high school, Mo, and then I got real fat. And then I was happy. I was like, oh my God, I'm fat. My head fits my fucking body now. This is great. And then everybody called me fat. And then I opened up that door myself. Like, I was like, what the fuck? And then I hated that shit. So then I slimmed down just solely because of that. Like, I mean, if I listened to my mom, I would still be fat today. She loved that I was fat. She still thinks that I was the healthiest I've ever been when I was 290 pounds.
Well, that's your mom. She's always gonna think you're healthy no matter what.
Yeah, but Elias is 5'4".
I have nothing to say on that now.
Apparently I'm a midget.
No. It's
You're close. You're close.
Classic running joke. Everybody knows he's 6'2", 3.5", or a quarter, whatever the fuck he wants to say.
Jesus, like I'm the short one here, so that's inappropriate. That's gonna need to change. I wish I could put some like Miracle Grow on myself.
Well, that's what guys get. Instead, we get height shaming, and we kid about it now. I mean, obviously Elias isn't a midget, but 5'10" is considered short to a lot of people.
Short as shit.
That's true. Yeah, and it's like for females, you have to be a Polly Pocket. You have to be able to be travel size, go wherever, be wherever. So it's like you're not trying to even the playing field here a little bit,
I feel like it's mad. I feel like it's mad even. If you guys are small while we're big, it evens it out. Like the planes won't tip over. It'll be good.
Well, but we have guns now. Like, is that like a classical like evolutionary?
Yo, what a fucking.
I was as soon. No, as soon as I said that, I was like, okay, I probably shouldn't have led with that statement. But I'm like, is it like an evolutionary like want for a taller, bigger person to protect the family and the group? Because if so, like I said, we have guns now.
Well, so to kind of like bring that full circle for the evolutionary part of it. So, I mean, question for you both. As far as what you know, do you got like Marilyn Monroe? We've always heard that she's been a bigger female, right? Did you guys know about that? Or did you hear that?
I heard there was like shaming, but
thicker size model, yeah.
But she was beautiful.
But she was actually only 117 pounds.
Yeah.
So when all of our news media is like, oh, she was like a size 12, blah, 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 blah. No, she was not. She was around my size. So when she died, she clocked in at 117, which is a very interesting number. But still, like that whole, it's interesting how we kind of went from making her something that she's not to here. It's like it was praised for her, but not for now, which I find very interesting because I've always heard, older generations were just bigger boned, but I don't really believe that at all, actually.
Well, and I thought Monroe was normal size for a model back in the day. Like I thought that was just
Mm,
like the case. It's not your Victoria's Secret runway in the 50s and 60s.
yeah. I mean, looking back on it, like Katharine Hepburn, um, Myrna Loy, Myrna Loy was only a size 2. Katharine Hepburn, I think, was like a size maybe 6, but that's because she's tall. Even Liz Taylor, like they cinched her waist left and right. So I think Judy Garland may be the only one I can really even say, all right, she was a little bit bigger boned, but they had her on the Hollywood cocktail just like all the rest, only she didn't respond to it. So,
And I feel like the Hollywood cocktail gets even crazier because like people think it's just about weight control. Like not even
yeah,
like Michael Jackson was under
yeah,
the Hollywood cocktail under his voice. Like his dad used to give that dude
yeah,
child hormones all
yeah.
his life just so he can have that angelic
Yeah, yeah, that's that
voice.
term, right? Chemically castrated.
Yeah,
Yeah, like bro, like that shit is like that's what Hollywood does. Like Britney Spears, that chemical cocktail that literally drove
yep,
her insane. And it's just like maybe she was, and it's not like, and it's I always say that, go, how you know she wasn't always crazy? Maybe she was crazy, bro. Everybody's crazy, but I feel like Hollywood makes your crazy like King Kong size. It's like you got to be really healthy to step
yep,
into Hollywood. If not, bro, whatever you have, bro, is gonna be magnified times 10. Like I don't think Kanye's that crazy. I really think
yeah,
the shit that Kanye does is really big because he's a billionaire. But honestly, Kanye is no different than any female or
yeah.
bum ass sensitive dude on my social media confessing his feelings on social media. That's just it. It's just Kanye's yay, and he's worth $1 billion, so it's bigger for him. But that's it. There's no
Yeah,
difference.
I
It's
always
all the
I always
same
thought,
shit.
yeah.
So you saying, Coin?
No, I said with Kanye, I always thought that it's like just take yourself whenever you're like the only one in the house. You're looking for something. You're cussing. What the fuck? Oh, there's the fucking thing. And then like, okay, what do I have to do? Like you might be talking out loud to verbally remind yourself, but he has Twitter with millions of followers, and he's doing that. Um, Also, you ever just sit and think for a minute? I know a lot of people don't think or do that anymore, but just think about a crazy topic and like, okay, let me explore this thought for a second. Again, he's doing that, but with a Twitter following of millions.
Yeah. It's like it's big. It's just like and it's another concept. Like if you really think about it, like all these celebrities, they're just normal people. The difference that makes them celebrities, you watch them. That's it. That's literally what changes a celebrity from a regular person. And the cocktail that these celebrities get to stay famous. That's why I say like depression is only a big problem because all the celebrities are dying.
hmm. I mean, I could agree. I could agree almost with that. I also think that again, and my opinion on this is just like weird, but it's kind of at this point, what exactly is depression? Because I'm pretty sure we could all figure out by now that depression is just something that, I mean, the chemical imbalance happens for a reason. So why is it that we are even putting more chemicals to try to make up for the lost chemicals that's already being taken from us on a daily basis just by eating the shit that we eat. And I am 100% guilty of this. I eat meat sticks and flaming hot Cheetos for a living. So, I'm all about it. But kind of like preaching to the choir, but if you are going to expect to be happy from this diet of cigarettes, Code Red, Mountain Dew, flaming hot Cheetos, you probably are in a different, like, whole other ass world that you probably should get out of. And that, a lot of that causes depression. And seeing people, like, I'm going to agree with you here, Sage, like the whole, you're going to see your idols do something that makes them depressed, then they have to tell their story about moving through it, getting through it, being a survivor, and it makes you depressed. So it's like a vicious fucking cycle. I hate this world. Just
It's
saying.
super, yeah. It's like, like for every, it's, I remember when I was a kid, and I'm gonna give, I guess, a little tag to my old Spanish Christian church, but they were like, for every time you shine a flash of light on three things, you make six shadows. So it's
Hmm.
like, so it's like, and I love that saying, even though, that church was wild, crazy and stuff, but that saying is really true. Like, a lot of these celebrities, they always, they, it's a really big thing. Like their platform could do so much, but at the same time, you cause that much negative of of effect happening with it. You know, like I remember when those kids were cutting for Justin Bieber. Remember that when that was a trend, people were cutting for Justin Bieber. I thought that shit was hilarious. While Justin Bieber was
I
like,
don't remember that, but I believe it just as soon as it came out of your mouth.
that. I feel like it would have been anything for Justin Bieber. It would have been believable. But like sucking cock for Justin Bieber, yeah, yeah, yeah. I believe it. But it was such a big thing, and like people were like, and I remember like people were just doing it, like, oh, this is a movement. You have to free Justin, and it's like that's bad. That's like crazy bad. That's like super toxic bad. Like these kids have no control, so they think if they cut themselves and have that little bit of control, it's gonna make Justin Bieber a better person. Like that shit is Justin Bieber,
Yeah, Van,
right?
you're on top of the engagement tonight. I appreciate you, and you too, Kit Kat.
For real. Like, yo, bro, I've been trying to put up all your shits on the thing, bro. But you've been saying too much facts.
Hey, I'll be talking. One of us will be talking, and like three things come in. It's like, ah, shit, we gotta roll on with the show. But
Yo,
yeah,
for
thank you.
real, it's like, oh man, like you said, drill sergeant can snap you out of it. That's not for nothing. My dad has that concept. Like my dad thinks like there's nothing that a good old military discipline can fix, and it's like, nah, that shit doesn't work. Like a lot of these kids are just different now. Like they don't bend with that. They break, and then they go into streets, and then they do negative things because positive, like it's kind of like the negative effect that therapy has on people. Like I talk to people now and I talk about therapy. They're like, oh, I hate therapy, and I go, why? And the story is either I went to therapy when I was a kid for school, and the therapist told my parents everything I said, or I
Oh,
went to a therapist and he told me a bunch of, or I went to a counselor in school and he told me a bunch of the basic ass questions, and it didn't help me. It's either those two questions, isn't it? Or some crazy ass shit like, let me stop before I find somebody here in the fucking comments, or in the fucking and Spotify. They'll be like, actually, I don't go to therapy because I was raped by my therapist every hour, every Wednesday. Like like you have that's cool, bro. Then fuck therapist for you. But for those bullshit ass reasons, like it's super annoying because it's like we let these childhood situations affect our adulthood lives when we don't understand a lot of those things, and then we take it, and then we make it bad, and it goes into all that stuff. It goes into body shaming, it goes into working out, it goes into church, it goes into learning school, it goes into anything. I've heard so many kids sit there and go, oh, I don't like school. Oh, why? Because school's a scam. Oh, who told you that? Oh, my brother told me that. Oh, okay. What does your brother do? Oh, well, he's an assistant manager at American Eagle. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's what's up. You know, like it's just we have to just take into a fact into a big fact that our light, no matter if it's a celebrities or not, whoever we shine it on, there's gonna be a negative effect. So we should take stock. I feel like that's how I should close it. I feel like I was going in a revolving door. My
No,
fault.
yeah, no, great closing statement too. I was just appalled too at the end, and banned in the chat, man. He's going off. But yeah, so next topic I wanted to get into, just I wanted to get into it last week. We don't have to spend an immense amount of time on this, but let's talk about Alex Baldwin. And
Hot Mess Express. That one.
Yes. I feel like I had so much ammunition for this topic, and pun intended, completely. When you're talking about a guy pointing a gun on set, and I want to kick it to Sage next, see what your opinion on this situation. When you have a guy who points a gun on set, doesn't think it's loaded, and shoots the gun, killing someone, whose fault is it? And we'll lead with that question.
Why? I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to pass.
Okay, all right. So let me explain a little bit more. Okay, so on set, apparently, there's a person who's, I think it's called an armoire, which is a ridiculous piece of furniture that I had to move from my mom's house a lot of times. They inspect every single quote-unquote weapon or prop weapon, all these things. Somebody loads it within that armoire department, and it was handed to him by an assistant director. The assistant director assured him, which he wasn't too sure, that it was just filled with blanks. Yada yada. A live round is fired. My biggest question is why, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to have Mo on too, why does a prop gun that supposedly doesn't have a hammer, it can only fire, or if it does, it can only fire blanks? How did a live round get into that gun?
So I feel okay. I'm reading everybody in the comments. Why is the gun loaded?
Okay, so yeah, sorry. Let me elaborate a little bit more. A blank is basically a shell without the bullet or projectile at the end, and it still has gunpowder for the explosion effect. A real bullet has the actual bullet that can be launched and fired. Now, they use blanks for cinematic effects, but nowhere on set should a live round be fired. As I should also mention, there's an ongoing investigation, but live round was used in early reports. So, sorry to cut you off.
No. So first things first, my deepest condolences go to the person that was shot. I forgot.
I was saving that for the end. Damn it! Her name was Helena.
Helena, but also I feel multiple things. One, the fault doesn't go. I feel like the fault is a slice of a pie in this situation. It mainly goes into the prop guy that's supposed to be checking it, because he's supposed to check if those are live rounds or not. Actually, I take it all back, because they were actually shooting live rounds into, like, they were shooting cans. So, and they weren't supposed to do that. So the fault goes to whoever shot those fucking live rounds and thought it was a great idea. That's the fault goes there. To Alec Baldwin, bro, I can't even fathom what's going through that man's brain. And I feel for him. I really do because it wasn't his fault. He's getting a lot of heat for it now that he doesn't. That I don't think he honestly deserves because he's just an actor. And like I heard like people be like, oh, if he would have held the gun before, he doesn't have to hold a gun. You know, he's an actor. He's in a situation where he shouldn't have to. You know, these people are like not everybody's John Wick. You know, not everybody's Keanu Reeves. Whenever they go and do guns, they always do target practice and they show you, oh look, I'm a master at this shit. It's some of these people are just regular actors. You know, it's just like, and I feel really bad for Alec Baldwin because I feel like ever since I've been growing up, Alec Baldwin has been having like a little bad rep every like 5 years. Like he's always doing something. Like the leak of his son got of the voicemail that he gave to his son, like him blacking on his son got leaked. Him going off on fans was always a big thing. And when I first read this, I swear that's the first thing I thought of. I said, "Oh my god, bro, Alec Baldwin just can't have a decade to himself." I was like, "This is crazy," and I just feel like it's a crazy ass situation that happened, and I think it does happen. Like it happened with Brandon Lee. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's a weird situation that should have not happened, but it happened, and this is why there's now regulations and rules in place so that this type of stuff doesn't happen. So if you think, hey, this would never happen, that's what those dudes thought, and then Alec Baldwin shot a blonde woman in real life. Now we can say that. Like imagine 10 years from now, I go back in time and I go up to Coin, I go, yo, Alec Baldwin shot a blonde woman in real life. He's gonna be like, Alec Baldwin, shut the fuck up. That dude's a cornball. He don't know how to shoot. This guy, the dude that's in the credit commercials, the dude that's in the credit card commercials, bro. No way, not that guy. That guy,
SNL Trump?
like, yo, SNL Trump, bro. Yo, that guy has a body on his record. That's just what I feel. Like that's
Yep.
wild now. Like,
Yep.
Okay, so I say that to say as the investigation is ongoing, it's hard to determine whether or not it was a live round, but like I said, going off the reports, it was initially. So I think they're just going to explain this all away by degrees of blame, right? So a lot of people will blame Alec Baldwin, tenured actor. A lot of people will blame the prop guy. A lot of people will blame the assistant director. Uh, they'll blame some of the cast who walked out that maybe should have been involved for oversight. Who knows? But nobody's going to get charged for this. And I thought, and I'll kick it to you, Mo. Get whatever you want to bring up on this topic. But I thought it was really ironic that the guy that played Trump literally shot somebody and will get away with it when Trump said I could walk down the street and shoot somebody and nobody would bat an eye.
Mm-hmm.
And that is foreshadowing for the next topic too. I'll bring that up again.
Coin, I know that we kind of started talking about this a little bit the one night, but if you guys don't mind, could I like take you down a little bit of a rabbit hole?
Well, if you are potentially going to have your own show, I would love to get the first take from Mo on COIN-cidentally.
Get food first, and then I'm ready to go.
So, as we know, she's married to. Let me try that again. She's married to Matthew. What's their last name? Sorry, I was looking at something else. She's married to Matthew Hutchins, and surprisingly, non-surprisingly, but at the same time, so he is actually a lawyer for Latham and Watkins. And Latham and Watkins is one of these law firms that has been intertwined with our government since the early 30s. And currently, as we speak, that law firm is actually the biggest I think they have the most revenue, either first or second world revenue for law offices. And at one point, I believe, yeah, they worked for the IRS under Eisenhower. And interestingly enough, I don't know if you guys know this, but the first mayor of New York was a Clinton. Now, we have to take that into consideration a little tiny bit, but kind of not really at the
For
same time.
influential family history.
Right.
I'll try to apply context because I know you need that. But
Thank you. So, with the Clintons, Bill Clinton's real name is William Blythe. So, just keep that in your back pocket for a few more minutes. So, with the Clintons, it kind of like comes through, it's old money in New York. And we all know how the Clintons love New York. So, to kind of get back to this, Latham and Watkins was actually the law firm that was hired by the Clinton Foundation. And on top of it, when we kind of add in, what's his ass, the one that got in trouble for the probe recently, or the Dermot report, starts with an S.
Sussman.
Yeah. So Sussman apparently had worked for this law firm. And this is also the same law firm that allegedly he had actually billed his hours from, personal hours, directly to Hillary Clinton. So it's a web that's very intertwined. Now, Coin, this is where I'm going to kind of veer off because we didn't have a chance to really talk about this part. But so Helena, she's from the Ukraine. I am fairly sure that I had read not too long ago that she was a journalist. She came here. I can't remember when she came here. I'm sorry. So, but when she did come here, there was something very interesting. I believe it was in the 80s that she came here, either the 80s or the 90s, but either way. So during that time period, there was actually like a tunnel from the Ukraine underneath Russia to essentially sex traffic a lot of women, girls, women, boys, all the above. So apparently, allegedly, I don't want to say apparently, allegedly, there is a connection with her and a lot of the sex trafficking stuff, as in she was trafficked.
So you're saying that a person affiliated by a few degrees of separation with the Clintons is involved with sex trafficking? Where have I heard that before? Who was the lady in Haiti?
She's part of
Laura Silsby?
Yeah, that's her name.
John of God? And now another one. So yeah, okay. We're getting conspiratorial 100%. But that's going to be, if Moda's decide to pull the trigger on VOP, that's going to be the crux of her show. She has this amazing ability to web together things that you'd never think of and do the research. I can only stare at a screen for so long before I want to shoot myself in the head. So that's kind of where we're going down right now.
Now, I do kind of want to add this in really quick, but the show that Alec Baldwin is currently working on, Rust, I've watched that show. It's actually pretty good. I believe, I'm pretty sure it's Rust. That's the show.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So it's actually based out of Erie. And I don't know if you guys are watching the news lately, but there's a whole lot of stuff coming out of Erie. And on top of it, there's a whole lot of stuff from the 90s that includes this woman who attached bombs to a few people to rob banks. Now, why am I including all of this? Because there was money wired to this woman's account from what could be a shell company linked to Sussman.
Yeah,
So I've
I
gotten that far.
100% believe. So essentially, from what you've said so far, like I said, we have not even had a chance to talk about this. I wish I would have been more available this past week, but it sounds to me like the theory would go that this was it was just a hit. It was some sort of quieting of all parties involved with the least suspecting victim.
Mhm. I think we could probably agree that the shooting in general is very sus. I think it's all very interesting on how it's being handled in general. They've pretty much all but cleared Alec Baldwin. When I'm sorry, I have to say this, but the man was an NRA supporter when he first started becoming big.
Which
He
he
is
means he knew his way around a firearm.
correct. And I'm pretty sure since he kind of came up in that generation of acting, he would have had arms training.